Hi, my name is Elizabeth Sazdanoff. Thank you for joining this learning module about women in sustainable aviation. This interview introduces Katie Kentfield. Katie is the manager of government affairs for Joby Aviation, a company dedicated to development and production of completely electric aircraft to serve the ever-growing market for fuel-efficient transportation. On behalf of Joby Aviation, Katie works to support policy that promotes the future of clean, sustainable aviation and leads their federal policy portfolio on NASA. She works with members of Congress and their staff and associates to push progressive policy goals. She is a graduate of Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska, with degrees in both economics and political science. She is currently furthering her education as a part-time law student. Hi, Katie.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. So is the world of aviation something you've always had an interest in, or is it something that came across your path as your career has developed?
It came across my path as my career developed. I know a lot of people within the aerospace community fell in love with it from a young age. At age 4 or 8, they've got great stories. For me, it was in Senator Moran's office where I helped out with the transportation portfolio and got to know the amazing aerospace manufacturing community that exists in Wichita, Kansas. So that was a huge moment for me where I had my aha, aerospace is amazing. And that's when I got the bug.
Okay, so what about our changing world brought electric flight to the forefront of your attention?
Definitely the eVTOL industry generally is what brought it to my attention. Being on the Hill, there were people coming by the office to talk about this great new technology that exists and how it can be integrated into the current existing system. So I was certainly excited to get my hands on it, learn more about it, and really see the capabilities that exist through electric flight.
So there's something very exciting about Joby Aviation. It has gained airworthiness approval from the U.S. Air Force a couple years ago, and it's the first company of its kind to do so. How can you see this? What would this mean for how quickly the company can continue to develop or progress its technology?
It's certainly important to the steps we're taking right now. We're working with FAA for through the certification process. That's something we're on track to continue working with them on for the next couple months into the next couple years, and hopefully have a type certified aircraft by the end of 2024. So certainly having the work that was done within Air Force is a huge win for us. And we're so grateful for those partnerships that were able to occur thanks to AFWERX Agility Prime program.
And so what is Joby Aviation's target market?
The target market is you, me, your mom, your dad, your family members, your brother and sisters. We want it to be an accessible mode of transportation that people can use. And this should be something that costs hopefully around $3 to $4 per passenger mile. If you want to fly from DC to Richmond or to Dulles Airport and get there in a quick, efficient, affordable manner, then that should be an option that's available to you. So this would be for anyone who has a ride sharing app. It would be that accessible for folks.
Is there currently a plan to make such a service affordable enough to entice enough business to turn a profit?
We certainly hope so. And we think that with the excitement of electric aviation, faster mode of transportation, and something that's affordable, it's going to be a product that can certainly be used in many different communities and ultimately create a profit too. But the most important aspect is trying to get people from point A to point B in the quickest, safest, most efficient manner.
And so is this something that could potentially cause a lot of upheaval? Because, as you've mentioned, point A and point B, not every building has a helipad on the top. So what kind of modifications would destinations need to make in order to facilitate an air taxi service like this?
That's a really good question. I think something that's really exciting about this industry is that so much of that infrastructure already exists. There are over 5,000 public airports within the United States that we could take off and land from. And it's something we could start doing tomorrow. And of course, if we had helipads or maybe one day vertiports, that would certainly be something we would love to work with communities on as well. Something that's really important when it comes to our aircraft is not only having a sustainable mode of transportation, but a very quiet mode of transportation so that it can seamlessly integrate into our neighborhoods and you're not hearing, a chop sound as you're having dinner with your family. So perhaps one day we can have a landing site that's specifically for quiet vehicles like ours. So then it doesn't draw in louder modes.
So are you saying, like, you mentioned there's all these public airports that can be utilized. Could there be maybe like a partnership with ride sharing things that already exist, like Uber or Lyft, that are connected, to this company's aircraft that could maybe, let's say they can't land in the middle of town, but they could land at a public airport and then have Uber or Lyft readily available.
Yeah, so our platform would want to seamlessly integrate into a system of ride sharing service. We actually have Uber Elevate as part of our team. They joined Joby about a year and a half ago, I believe, and help with that app process. So we would be an app-based service, and you select a ride, a car could pick you up through a ride sharing service, take you to the heliport, and from there, you're off to your next destination. And when you land at your end location, if you need to continue going further, a ride sharing service could pick you up and take you to the final destination. So we're certainly open to this integrated form of thinking when it comes to transportation.
So regarding the pilot shortage, what do you think could be key in encouraging new pilots to become interested in the eVTOL transportation industry? And what are some challenges they may face that traditional airline pilots don't?
I think I'd almost reword it. What are some challenges that eVTOL industry can help solve for? And that is, for our pilots, you're traveling within your own city. You get to stay at home at night. You don't have to travel from one side of the country to another side of the country and then have to spend the night there, spend time away from your family. We're hoping to have a more community integrated form of service where pilots can go home every night, see their family. They don't have to spend hours away in another city for the night. So we certainly think that is something that's going to help bring people into the industry who may not have thought of joining this workforce prior to the advent of eVTOLs.
So while we're on the subject of challenges, would you say that there are any challenges that you face or any new opportunities that you faced as a woman working in both government and aviation technology company? And how did you overcome those challenges or rise to meet those opportunities?
I think something that's really exciting about transportation and aviation is that there are endless opportunities and you have to just lean into it, run with it, and see what happens. I recently was at the Oshkosh Air Show with our Joby team, talking to people who do everything within the realm of aviation. There are so many opportunities, whether it's mechanical engineering, being a pilot, doing government relations, that aviation has to offer. And I think the excitement of exploring those opportunities and leaning into it, maybe taking a class in college that you never thought may have initially sparked your interest, is something to do. And leaning into those opportunities is, what really creates that path. And luckily, when I was in Senator Moran's office, I had an awesome mentor who suggested I help out with the aviation portfolio. I didn't know too much about aviation at the time, but when I decided to lean into it and learn more about it, I realized what a gold mine it really is. So I would suggest this industry for all women. There are so many opportunities, and there are only going to be more. This industry is going to just keep growing.
So, what is your favorite aspect of working in it right now?
Definitely the fact that I can be hands-on with the cutting edge technology that is going to continue America's storied history of aviation. I feel like America has always been the country where we have Amelia Earhart. I'm from Kansas. Amelia Earhart is an icon, and her statue was just placed in the Capitol a few weeks ago. It's great working with new technologies that help us carry that legacy that America's spent so much time, energy to develop.
So, can you think of anyone you may view as a mentor or a group that has motivated you on your career path, even outside of the company itself?
Definitely. Someone who has motivated my career path was a former boss in Senator Moran's office, or mentor. Her name is Lauren. So shout out to her. But she was always a person who taught me how to identify goals, run for them, achieve them in the realm of public policy. And I feel like if you are able to support your teammates and cheer for their successes, that's always a winning goal. That's something I really learned from her early on, which was very, very lucky.
Is there something that you wish I could have asked you? Something you'd like to add?
Whew. Well, I think you've asked a lot of great questions today. The one thing that I would just want to add is there's always a time to engage and further lean into the world of aerospace. It doesn't matter if you're 8 years old falling in love with flight when you see a plane flying over your house, or if you are in your 40s and you decide you want to become a pilot. There are so many local opportunities to engage in aviation, even at your local regional airports. I would just suggest that people remain curious and seek out those opportunities that they may not have initially thought were for them.
Okay, so when can I start? As in, when would training for pilots in these aircraft begin on a larger scale, large enough to produce the services that you hope to see?
Hopefully very, very soon. We already are training people in California. We've got a whole school that we're setting up, which is really exciting. And we have a flight simulator that we've been able to do DoD training on and different flight tests. So that's certainly something that we want to be able to get people into as soon as possible.
Okay, well, this is all really exciting, and that is all I have on my end. So if you'd like to add anything further, then the floor is yours. If not, I thank you so much for coming for your time.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
Katie, tell us a little bit more about the technology behind your product. My first thought was that it was a helicopter. You know, it looks like it's a modification. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yes, so it is not a helicopter. This is being certified as a powered lift aircraft. It is a vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. So we like to shorten that to call it an eVTOL. And of course, it is electric. So it's powered by batteries. And that creates a lot of opportunities for redundancy within the aircraft, helping it be very silent as a mode of transportation. It can go up to 200 miles per hour. 150 miles with 20 to 30 minutes on reserve. So I think that when you think of electric, when you think of new energy sources being integrated into the modes of transportation we currently have, it really creates new opportunities of traveling and thinking differently about it. And with it being electric too, we're hoping it can be a more affordable service for people. And that's certainly a goal that my boss has, and I know everyone in the company is very much committed to as well.
And what's your advice for young women who are thinking of a career in aviation? What would you suggest that they study? What are some of the things that they should be doing to prepare themselves?
Definitely. So I personally studied political science and economics and am now in aviation. So I don't think I probably took the traditional path for going into aviation, but certainly all STEM fields are certainly great classes to take. I have many friends in the aviation community who have done engineering and who have taken time on the weekends to go to FAA ground school or learn how to fly. So perhaps even doing your own learning outside of school, taking FAA ground school is certainly a way you can get started, even if you're not interested in STEM.
Do you fly yourself or do you plan to?
I'm currently in FAA ground school and take one of the classes that's available online. Thanks to my company, Joby, I'm able to do that through them, which is really exciting. And as someone who never thought I'd be a pilot, anybody can do it. It's a great experience. It's a great time. And I think it really shows you what you're capable of. It helps raise your confidence, that's for sure.
So what would be your goal if you complete your training? Would you want to stay within the industry you're in or maybe move on to a full-time aviation career?
I certainly love where I am right now. And I think that cutting edge technologies within aerospace and eVTOL, everything that Joby is doing is right up my alley. So knock on wood, but hopefully I will continue to be here if they have me.
All right. Well, that is all on my end, I believe. Mary, did you have anything else?
No, Katie, this was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.